How often have you been in a presentation that was so boring that you would have loved to leave a statue of your face and go do something else? We'll explore in this video the main mistake that most of us do, and how you can avoid boring presentations. Most of the presentations are boring for the ones listening, and the reason is quite simple. The one listening, the one looking at the presentation, does not feel concerned, does not relate to what is said. And because that person is not saying, aha, this happens to me too, you have a problem. When you are presenting, when you are designing a speech or something you want to convey to others, the question that you need to ask to yourself is, who is my audience? And why my message is relevant for them? And if you have not done properly this exercise, no matter how passionate it is for you to share that specific experience, your audience will be disengaged. Which means that depending on your audience, you may have to frame or even to comment things in a much different way. Let's say that you're a GP, a general practitioner. So you're among doctors. You can go and they will relate, if you're talking about an experience with patients, to their own lives. You may not need to go too much into the context and try to frame things in such a way that they understand. But now, if you're talking to a wider population and you want all of these people to get your attention, you will have to see how your experience with that patient makes sense to any of them. If, for example, you had a patient and that patient actually didn't tell you all the things and you didn't ask all the details, and because of that you prescribed the wrong medicine. If you're talking to general practitioners, you may just say it is very important to have a very detailed questionnaire to follow or any other process to make sure that you don't miss something. Now, same story, but for a wider population. It may be about attention to details. It may be about being much more careful to the body language, to detect when people have maybe something more to say. Whatever you want to convey as a message. This is just an illustration. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this with a very difficult exercise. You could try it yourself. You are a tennis ball. Why a tennis ball? Because I want you to be very different from me. You are a tennis ball and you will have to just tell this story. You fall on the ground and you go up. That's it. You can imagine that with such a difference between you being a tennis ball and your audience being humans, it's quite difficult to get them engaged into I fell, I rebound. Now, here's just an example of how you could deal with it. I was just walking through life, going, and I didn't realize for a long period of time that I was falling. Actually, it's when my hair started to hit the ground that I said to myself, what's wrong? I understood at that time that something was not going well. But by the time I really understood what happened to me, my skin got compressed, my temperature rose inside me, and I thought to myself, I'm going to explode. But then I understood, I realized my life purpose is to serve tennis players. And I could not give up on that. And that's how I collected all the energy I could. And I took from this difficult, high pressure moment, I found the energy to rebound, to push back against difficulty. And that's how I rose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to be careful about how sometimes we fall without realizing. So be aware of that and try to detect things that will allow you, some signals to allow you to see where you're going down. And whenever you're down, never give up. Never, never give up. Oh, this is just a tennis ball speaking. It's not me, even though the message maybe could be relevant for you. Keep your audience engaged by thinking about what their interests are and make sure that you deliver something that makes sense for them. And if you're a tennis ball and you're talking to humans, this works as well.